I know what you're talking about. I, of feeling less than or insecure. And a lot of them, it wasn't maybe something physical, but one student had said, for instance, that, he was hiding his sexuality. And
Oh,
another student was talking, another girl started sharing these inside fears and insecurities. When all was said and done, the principal came up to me afterwards and he goes, "This is your calling." And yeah, I look back on it now and think, isn't that funny? Because everything that I told him, I said, no, it's too raw and it's too vulnerable and it's too much, are those things now that I lean into with that. And I know that's a term you hear a lot in
yeah.
personal development, but it's those emotions and those feelings now that have led me to love speaking and sharing my story. I was getting to ask or getting to share my story more, and people started saying, there's got to be a message here somewhere. And I prayed. So I literally went to bed and thought, I don't know where I'm supposed to go with this. I had a dream. And I woke up the next morning and what it said was no more pockets. Your story is no more pockets. Well, that's the story of my life, literally, of
Yeah.
hiding my hand in my pocket. Some kids whispering about my hand. And I went in my pocket because I thought if they don't
Well, if they don't
see my
see it,
it,
yeah.
yeah. So, and then it was literally, my hand was always in my pocket. When I was in the gym, and then I got competing, I had to try out for the USGF team, got asked to try out. And I was no different. I mean, this is before going into those years of where my hands started to make me feel different. I
Yeah.
was just one of the other gymnasts. I was
Sure.
cut no slack.
Yeah.
I tell people my coach went on to assistant coach 2 men's Olympic teams. So I was trained with professionals. I was practicing visualization at a
Yeah.
young age but I'd fall off the bars and they're like, get back up.
Yeah.
When anytime you fell off an apparatus, you had 30 seconds to remount.
Yeah.
So, and I'd fake it. I'd be like, shaking out my arms and my coach is like, you're not hurt. You're scared. Get back up on the bars. So we had a lineup, girls on one side, boys on the other. And no one the boys would come and they'd start to see that they were going to have to be my partner and therefore hold my hand.
Oh.
And they'd be switching places in line.
And what do? You can't step out of line.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was mortified because my PE teacher, my male PE teacher had to be my partner.
Oh.
And he walked up and he goes, "I'll be your partner." And I was just mortified.
Yeah.
Mortified. And I thought, oh, this is so embarrassing. But it was another moment. As hard as it was, I thought, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's the fear of not being loved and accepted. That's where all this comes down
Sure.
to, is that who's going to love me? Is this always going to be something where someone's not going to want to hold my hand? They all open up. They're all open with their struggles. Steve Harvey, all the greats.
Yeah.
And that's where I believe the connection, Brene Brown, to these people we look up to, it's not in their success, but it's in knowing they too have traveled this road of being afraid and vulnerable and scared and wondering, am I going to be accepted? So I think our deepest connection comes not from our successes, but sharing with each other our struggles, because there's something that happens when you know they get me. They understand what I'm going through. I would come home from school after maybe a rough day, and he would say, "Okay, listen, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to go in your room and cry it out, get it out."
Yeah.
And he would set a timer, and he'd come in and say, 5 minutes is up. Like, it's time to get back, leave your room, get back outside and go on and do whatever you were going to do. And what he taught me was, and this is what I want other kids to know, we have to look at what's causing us pain.
Yeah.
But we can't sit in it and wallow in it. I don't really consider myself a coach. I heard something, or I read something about a speaker who said, at the end of the day, all I really want to do is maybe have expressed one word or one insight that someone will take with them that will inspire for them something intrinsic that lets them or leads them to change.